As we reported months ago, the Disney Disabilities and Accessibility Services, well, they are changing at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. DAS, as they call them, DAS. But there are a lot of folks out there who are very angry about these changes because now they focus only on those with mental disability, not physical disability. And also, Disney is offloading their responsibility to make sure that this is being used correctly to someone else. We'll explain it all right now. Hello folks, welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we dive into the inner workings of theme parks and explain to you what you need to know before you go. And when it comes to Walt Disney World and Disneyland, we're here to tell you that if you have someone in your party, in your family, in your friend group who has a mental disability or a physical disability, this is the sort of video that you need to watch, because the way in which you will navigate the park has absolutely changed. And in fact, the way that you're going to even want to get started planning out going to the park has absolutely changed. Totally new system, totally new company running it. So folks, let's dive in right now to the conversation, and we'll explain to you how you can best handle this as you get ready to plan your next trip. Jonas, did you and Vash break this before? Did you talk about this publicly? This is something that we've known was coming. I don't know if we've been public about it.
And we don't want to sound like we're taking credit for someone else's scoop here, but we did get wind of this a few months back, and we did a few videos on Lightning Lane and some brief mentions of DAS at the same time. So there are hints in that video that this was coming, but we did not want to talk about it for reasons that we'll talk about. Now that this is over, I feel free to release the video that Vash and I recorded yesterday talking about this situation. So please go ahead, Pro.
Well, I was just going to say too, when I had Marina on the channel originally talking about the disability issues that are at the Magic Kingdom, you know, it was alluded that this was going to be coming, but I didn't say it outright because we could not burn a source. But we'll go ahead and read this as it's just breaking today. And we didn't know that it was going to happen today. But this is Disney launching major changes to disability access service. Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resort are launching a new disability service or access service this spring. We recently reported on the rumor that Disney would be changing the DS Pass soon, says WDWNT.com. The new service will launch on May 20th at Walt Disney World and on June 18th at Disneyland. It's designed to accommodate guests with a developmental disability like autism or similar. No medical records will be required until the official launch. DAS is valid for up to 30 days. After that, it will be valid for the length of the ticket or up to 120 days. And it goes into some degree of details about how the new system is going to work, although I'm not sure they have been fully announced quite yet. You can find out, though, folks. There are details now on Disneyland and Disney World websites to find out if this is something that would interest you or your families out there. So, something we had to sit on for a while because we didn't want to cause anyone a problem, any sources be called out or caught or anything like that.
Actually, Pro, I think that we still have more information on this that is not yet public.
Share, please, Jonas.
Well, I can't share all of it. I want to be very careful here, but the change to the requirements based off of autism and ADHD, that is not what we were hearing was the update to the system. The problems that we were hearing about were greater requirements in order to qualify for some form of disability access, whether or not it ended up being DAS. We talked about GAC, the old system, which I often wonder if GAC was pushed away because that's also a copyright of the Nickelodeon.
Jonas, I think given that they're just announcing it today, I think if you've got more stuff, I say we go ahead and talk about it. I don't see any reason to hold it at this point.
All right. Well, so essentially there's been a Lightning Lane issue at Walt Disney World, and the higher the price of Genie Plus and Lightning Lane on any individual day, suddenly there will be a rise in guests who have issues getting into the park.
And by the way, same thing with child rider swap. Go ahead, Jonas.
Well, yes, of course, with child rider swap, that one, no one has to say anything that is not true in order to take advantage of rider swap, unless someone is grabbing a child.
You'd be amazed, Jonas. Keep going, Jonas. Let's leave that one alone.
Right. So unless there is some kind of strange system of of Lightning Lane that actually causes disabilities. It would seem that the uptick in people who are requesting use of DAS when the price of Lightning Lane rises, maybe there's somebody who is abusing the system there, perhaps.
The article mentions that DAS usage has reportedly tripled over the past 5 years and has become unwieldy. I did not know it was that high. That is quite the enormous increase right there. So, and that lines up perfectly with the implementation of Genie Plus there in 2021.
Exactly. Vash, let's think through that, okay? And I'm coming back to you, Vash. Let's think through that for a minute. So what we're saying is that Disney increased the cost to get to ride rides by, well, it used to be free, right? Now, if you want to get to ride rides, you're going to pay $25 to $40 per person. So for a regular family of four, let's do easy math, and let's just say it's going to cost you $125 more, okay? $125 more per day at Disney World, because if you don't get the Genie Plus and you can't skip those lines, the lines now move so slowly. But so it's not as if you get to ride the rides in the same amount of time as in the past. Now that the Genie Plus thing is here, the standby lines, they just are almost at a standstill. So it takes forever and ever. So if you do that, who would have ever thought suddenly anybody who can possibly qualify with a disability is going to claim it to get to skip the waiting in lines? This is just absolutely, it makes total sense why this would happen. It's the unintended consequences of Disney monetizing, nickel and diming their guests to death as soon as they cross through the turnstiles.
Right. I'll also add that everyone on this panel, I think everyone on this panel, has some experience with a family member or extended family member that could use this system. So that's all I'm going to say.
And we love them. This is definitely not a slight against anybody like that.
No, absolutely not. The slight is against the people who might be abusing this system.
Well, my slide is against Disney for creating a situation where people feel that they have to do this to get to ride rides.
That's fine. But the thing that I want to point out is Disney has put themselves in a precarious position here, because according to HIPAA laws, and for those of you outside of the United States, HIPAA laws say that you pretty much can't ask anyone about their medical situation. So they have to be very vague, and the person coming up has to Disney does not require people to provide medical information, and they should not ask that medical information. So getting DAS, you're essentially going to plead your case, but also they aren't allowed to ask you actual questions, or they don't want your documentation or anything like that. So they've put the CMs, the cast members.
Is this now a third-party system that's being implemented?
That's the one that the rumor was about, and
that was the speculation, because theme parks like Six Flags, SeaWorld, and Universal had moved to a third-party system. It looks like they're not, at least for the time being here. Obviously, things can change as this system is adapted and so forth, but there are some. It looks like there are some operational changes. So it looks like instead of actually going into the park in order to receive such a system, they're going to be doing it outside the park now. It does look like they're reducing the party size from 6 to 4, which is pretty big deal, especially for families who maybe have more than 4 people in them.
Well, and often, Vash, often, depending on the degree of the disability, right, the severity of the disability, parties tend to be larger the more severe the disability. How's that? For obvious reasons. So that's a major hit on some of these families that need some extra folks to help make the vacation magical if suddenly the party size is limited to 4 instead of 6.
Right.
It's obviously a very big deal. Now, one advantage to the system that we were hearing rumors about, which I'm not convinced that's not also coming here in the next little while, is that third-party verification that takes that out of Disney's hands, and Disney does not want to be the one who is the judge of this, and does not want to hear the complaints online about people who say that, oh, Disney denied me this access. So they would rather tend towards allowing the access. We were very cagey about reporting about this because we didn't want anyone to know about this system that did not need to know about this system, because sometimes sometimes describing the problem increases the problem.
Yeah, it's a delicate situation for sure. And Ken Reichard, I believe in the chat earlier, talked about some of the problems associated with the old system and how Disney has attempted to refine this in order to lessen the abuse, but still provide access to the people who need it. And it looks like they're going with a middle ground route right here. It says that no medical records will be required. We'll see. Like I said, Jonas, I think you're right. They had to be looking at that third-party system and going, how can we implement this effectively at Disney resorts domestically? It's going to be really interesting to see what changes are put into effect come June 18th and May 20th.
Interesting stuff, folks. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing here. I know Vash was saying that it was like a triple the amount of people were using the system. And I just kind of looked this up because did a quick Google search, and it says here 1 in 91 children in 2009 had autism. It increased to 1 in 40 in 2017. So you also had a significant increase of number of people that would qualify, I guess, for the program as well.
Yes.
Absolutely. That has been definitely going on for sure.
One additional side note, folks, completely, I don't know how pertinent it is, but I would say too, if anybody from Disney is listening to the show, I would also recommend that you take a look at your policies that are in place for those with autism at your water parks. In the past, I have heard through sources that they might be lacking in comparison to other water parks that have brought their policies into the modern age. Folks, we've come to the end yet again. We will miss you, friend. Well, but not for too long, because guess what? New content every single day, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, and 7:30 p.m. Eastern each and every day, as well as the Pro Show live Tuesdays at noon Eastern and sometimes Thursdays at 5. Folks, we hope you had a good time. Like, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms, it's the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. Low. All right, folks, we will see you real soon. It was an honor to spend our time with you. We mean it. So wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.